Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It is your girl Amanda Ensing, and I am here with my first official video in my Nashville house. If you haven't seen my empty house tour, make sure to check it out after this video. I hope to share more home decor videos with you this year, maybe some DIY projects, we'll see. But I'm really excited to get everything unpacked. We still have a long way to go, but I'm really excited to get it unpacked so that I can just focus on creating content for you guys. Before I get into the video, I just want to say I am thinking of all of you. I hope you're all staying safe and well. This is a really difficult time for our world. I will never take for granted again going out to eat, going to the mall, just going to do daily things. If you're able to stay at home, please stay at home and please take this seriously. This is very serious. Also, a huge shout out to all of our healthcare workers, our grocery store workers, our law enforcement, everyone in sanitation, like everyone that is just helping us stay safe, our mail workers. There are so many businesses that are still open, that have to be open so the country and that the world can run. So a huge shout out to them. I've been thinking about filming this video since I found out I was officially moving. And now that I'm finally sitting here to film it, I hope I can say everything that's on my heart and that's on my mind. I've sat in the shower so many times saying things out loud that I want to say to you guys. I don't know if I'm the only one that does it, but I always talk to myself in the shower. It's like a thinking spot for me while I'm showering. I hope I can say everything that I want to say, answer some questions, and I'm more than happy to do like a chit chat, get ready with me, or do a lot of them this year and elaborate on this subject if it's something you guys are interested in. I think with the virus and everything going around, it's also clouded my mind a little bit. And I feel like my focus has shifted to survival and things that are just way more important than why I left LA. But this is also a big chapter in my life. And this was a very, very tough decision to make. So I did want to do this. I said I was going to do it. And I'm really excited to film this for you guys. And this video is probably going to get deep. So buckle up. I'm like leaning back in my chair. Do I look like awkward right now? It's so comfy. To start off this video, I'm just gonna give you guys a little bit of a recap of the last 4.5 years or so of my life. So 4 years ago, I moved to Los Angeles from Knoxville, Tennessee. And that was the biggest move of my life, the biggest decision of my life. I had already been doing YouTube full time when I was in Knoxville. I had been doing it for a few years, and I don't know how many subscribers I had, but I was doing well, and I just felt like I was too comfortable. I wasn't being pushed. I wasn't pushing myself. I'd gone through a really hard breakup during my last year in Knoxville. 7 or 8 months after that breakup, I was like, when my lease is over at my house I was renting in Knoxville, I am going to move to LA. I've been to LA a lot for work, and I liked it. I mean, visiting somewhere and living somewhere are two completely different things, but a lot of YouTubers were there, a lot of Instagrammers were there, a lot of social media was there, a lot of the beauty brands were there. My biggest dream has always been to have my own makeup company. And I knew if I wanted to have a makeup brand, I needed to network, I needed to find labs, find how to start a makeup business, and what better place than Los Angeles. And I love warm weather. I want a new challenge. I was single, young. I was like, let's do it. The first couple days in LA were some of the craziest days of my life. Maybe I'll tell that story one day, but it was insane. Probably foreshadowing to what my life in LA would be like, honestly. I got to LA and I got to my apartment in Hollywood, and I just remember taking an Uber to Target because I needed to get toilet paper and some other things back when we could find toilet paper places. That's weird to say. I remember being in the Uber and just thinking, wow, Hollywood's really ugly. Don't mean that in a mean way, but honestly, it was nothing like what you saw on TV. And my apartment was really cute. My apartment was actually less than half of the size of my house in Tennessee, and it was over double the price. Coming from a really small town, moving to Los Angeles was a huge culture shock. About 5 months after I lived in Hollywood, I met this guy named Raphael, and we met at a Halloween party. I can also do a whole like get ready with me on how we met. I don't know if I've told it before, but anyways, we were friends for a few months and then we started dating. We've been dating ever since. So we've been together over 3 years now, which is crazy. We had a roller coaster of emotion and just crazy things that happened in LA. And it definitely made us stronger as a couple. It made me stronger as a person. and probably a lot of things we saw and experienced. Who knows if I'll ever even talk about it, but LA is wild. I don't mean just in a party way, because we don't party, so it's not even really that. LA is a place unlike anything I've ever been to in my life. The first question I want to answer, I saw asked a lot, and is one of the main things of this video, is why did I move from LA to Nashville? It was the hardest decision of my life, and I think of our lives, because Raphael and I made this decision together. But I also think the most difficult decisions are also the right decisions. LA is a lot. If you live in LA, please don't take this personal if your experience is different than mine. I am being honest and open and vulnerable of what I experienced in LA. You don't have to agree. Maybe your experience is different, but don't shame me or tell me that I'm wrong for my opinion. This was my experience and my truth on living in LA. There's just so much involved with why we decided to move. It's really hard for me to pinpoint one thing. We had gotten to a point about a year ago where we just started talking a lot about not being happy in LA. LA is very expensive. You don't have to live there to know LA is very expensive. We were paying so much money just to live in LA, but we didn't love LA. That was one of the reasons. I feel like a lot of people never want to talk about money. They don't want to act like they're real people, and everyone just likes to pretend that they're filthy rich and loaded. I'm always real and honest with you guys, and I didn't grow up with anything, and I'm successful now, but still, money doesn't grow on trees, and money is something I take very seriously. I'm not okay just blowing my money just to blow money. We were paying so much money for rent, for food, for everything. Turn after turn after turn in LA, financially, we were just getting beat all the time. I'm sure everyone in LA can agree to that and relate to that, but LA is very expensive. So if I'm paying that price to live there, along with the taxes, which are crazy, along with everything, you wanna make sure you're getting a good quality of life. That was one of the first things that came up. When I saw how much money I was putting out, and I wasn't happy, we weren't enjoying it. Our house on the inside was beautiful. I loved the house that we had, but there was always people trying to break in the house. We had a lot of issues with homeless people around us, and it's really sad. There's more and more homeless people in LA, and it's really, really sad, and I feel like LA does not a whole lot to help them. There was trash everywhere all the time. We would always find like fast food and alcohol and things thrown into our yard because we weren't in a gated community. But like, you shouldn't have to live in a gated community to have privacy and to have people respect your stuff. With LA being so crowded and so many people, everyone's always in a hurry. It's a very fast-paced city. I don't mind fast-paced. I just think that that probably added to everyone being in a bad mood all the time. Like, coming from the South and going to the West Coast, going to LA specifically, we're just completely different. And I knew it was gonna be different. But even I saw in my previous video people commenting, oh, like, you know, not everyone in LA is mean. There are people in OC, they're nice. OC is not LA. Like, Los Angeles is Los Angeles. If you live an hour, 2, 3 hours from LA, like, that's not LA. The beach is not LA. Like, LA is central LA to me. You know, I lived in Hollywood, I lived in West Hollywood, I lived in the Valley, and I liked the Valley the most. The Valley is like my jam. I felt like the city was taking a toll on my soul and on my mental health. I'm very positive, I'm always nice to everyone, and I told myself if I ever thought I was gonna change, I would leave. I felt like LA was just kind of wearing us down, and we weren't having a good quality of life. Like, we never wanted to leave our house. People were rude and upset everywhere we went. If you don't look famous or you don't look like you have money, people aren't nice to you. It's just crazy. I made a lot of amazing friends in LA that I'm still friends with and will continue to be friends with. So I'm not talking about the industry. I'm not talking about my friends. I just mean like the general mass of people. It is a very savage, hustle you city. That's just how it is. Living in LA was just a roller coaster for me. There were times in my first few months there that I was very self-conscious of how much money I had and what I was wearing. Like, I remember one time coming home from a coffee shop and feeling like I need to take my Chanel bag to get coffee tomorrow so that people take me seriously. It was like me battling with my inner voice. I'm like, wait a minute, like, why do you have to have a nice bag to go get coffee? And it was just the materialism of LA starting to weigh on me. And it's very heavy there because it's all about material things. What kind of car you drive, what kind of house you have, what kind of bag you have, what kind of clothes you wear, What does your body look like? You know, have you had surgery done? It's just very materialistic. And I love nice things. I love designer things. I love doing my makeup, doing my hair, like, you know, nothing wrong with it. When so many people that were around me valued material things and money over everything else, and that's how they valued you as a person, I knew that that was not something I wanted to be around long term. The last year or so, I really found my groove in LA. I had my favorite coffee shops. We went to Hillsong Church for like, I think we went there actually for over 2 years. So I had my church, I had my coffee, we loved our gym. But when it came professionally, I just felt like because of this energy and because of how LA was making me feel as a person, I couldn't create, I didn't feel confident, and I wasn't happy. I was not at peace living there, and I knew it was time to move on. When I moved to LA, I was so convicted to go. I knew I was supposed to be in LA, and I'm so glad I did. I knew I was supposed to be there. And within a couple of months, when I started thinking about Nashville, I was like, it's time to go. It was the same feeling of, I'm not meant to be here anymore. Raphael was very ready to move as well. He was very ready to leave LA. He had been in LA, I think almost 10 years, so longer than me. LA, in a lot of ways, does not feel like real life, and I don't think it's real life, especially in an entertainment scene. You know, there are a lot of really wealthy people in LA, and there's nothing wrong with being successful or wealthy at all, because there are a lot of wealthy people in LA. Sometimes, how do I word this so that it makes sense? Sometimes it's like you live in this bubble and you're disconnected with the rest of the world. No matter how much money I have, how successful I am, I want to be true to myself and to be happy. I learned a lot. I'm so thankful and I'm so happy that I moved there and I lived there, but it is a very materialistic place. It is a very money focused place. Now with social media, it's clout, it's stepping on everyone to get to the top. I feel like in LA, I always felt like this dark cloud was above me at all times. The moment I would fly out of LA to go somewhere, I just felt like I could breathe. Once we knew we were moving, I kid you not, I kept envisioning myself in my new house, exhaling and crying tears of joy because I got out of LA. LA is not what people show on social media. It's not what the movies show. Living in LA and visiting LA are two very different things. And it's not all negative. I'm just trying to get some of my thoughts out now up front of reasons why we left. LA, I feel like in the last year and a half has been really rough with crime. I had all the neighbor apps. I had Ring on my door. With everything, I would just see gunshots and stabbings and theft and break-ins, and we had a few scary experiences at our house. After each one, I'm like, we're getting out of here. I was just so ready to leave. I also feel like when I moved to LA is when I started creating less content. You have so much access to people in front of brands, at events, brand trips, manager meetings, whatever it is, that I feel like I was doing so many things behind the scene and not a whole lot on camera. And that became a routine in my life that I'm not proud of, and I didn't want to do that forever. Like, I got where I am because I film videos and I love makeup and fashion and fitness and all these things, and I did that. But when I moved to LA, I feel like a lot of my on-camera life got put on hold because there were so many other things that I was doing. So one thing I'm really excited about not being in LA is just filming more content. Once we get settled in and we have so much to unpack, I just want to become a content machine and doing stuff that I love. I know I'm gonna flourish and blossom, and I'm not gonna be the old Tennessee Amanda that I was. I'm gonna be the new Tennessee Amanda, the woman I am now, upgraded 2.0. And I'm just so happy to be here. I'm so happy that I'm here. I can't even express to you how happy I am to be here. I've been waking up every morning at 7 a.m. In LA. I usually wake up around 9, and this is really hard to say. I didn't always want to wake up. There are a lot of times I just wanted to stay in bed for like a while and just delay my day getting started. Like, I didn't want to sit in bed all day by any means, but I just want to just chill in bed. It's almost like I wanted to skip school every day. Like, I just didn't want to do anything. It would always hurt my feelings when I saw people comment, LA has changed you. Like, you're just like everyone else in LA. And I was never like anyone else in LA. Maybe my fashion changed. Maybe I hung out with more people there. I don't know why people, like what made certain people feel that way. But inside, I've always been the same. And I think LA made me a better person. I think the hardness of LA, the bitterness of LA, all of the trials and things that we went through in LA molded me into the woman I am now and gave me an appreciation for a lot of things in life. In addition to not being happy in LA, last summer we came to visit my family and my grandfather seemed off. Within 2 weeks, his health just went like this. He had a tumor on one side of his brain and it eventually shut down the other side of his body. He then got blood clots in his lungs from being in the bed. It was very hard. Through that whole experience, I was like, if he passes away, like I can't drive to see him. My mom has also been going through a lot. That was one of the things where I was like, I want to be near my family. Family is everything to me. I've done what I need to do in LA. It's time to go home. It was one of those moments where you just don't know how long you're gonna have with somebody. There were a lot of weird signs that we should move. I feel like God did everything but stand in front of me and wave a neon sign. This I don't think was a sign, but just one thing that is weird to me to think about now. In October, I'd gotten back from Tennessee. I was talking to Raphael and I was like, I really think we should move. Like, I think we need to do it now. I don't want to wait a year. I think we should just do it. I was like, I can't help but feel that something bad is gonna happen. We literally moved right before a lockdown. To see where everything is now, I would have been more devastated and anxious if I wasn't within driving distance to my family. And I could have never predicted that. No one could have ever predicted that. I'm not from Nashville. I'm from about 4 hours from Nashville. I grew up in a town even smaller than Knoxville. I just moved from Knoxville to LA. So Nashville is still very new and shiny to me. I have 2 of my best friends here, which is really great. Everyone we've met in LA, everyone we talked to was like, I love Nashville. My friend's moving to Nashville. Oh, my best friend's moving to Nashville. I have someone at work moving to Nashville. It was like everywhere we went, it was all about Nashville. And we've been here, I don't know, has it been 2 weeks yet? I've lost track of time, but we've only been able to drive to get groceries, but I love it so far. The moment I stepped foot in this house, it felt like my home. We had 3 different places in LA, 4 years. It never felt like home to me. It never had that comforting feeling ever. I didn't feel like my soul was at peace. I never felt like I could rest in LA. I also feel like LA is a magnifying glass and it magnifies all of your insecurities. I've always been very confident. LA always made me feel insecure. I never felt like I was good enough. I struggled with things I had never struggled with in my life. I just felt the heavy weight of the energy in LA. LA has some strong energy, and that energy to me was a dark cloud in my experience. I love the weather. There's so many cool food spots. Like, LA is not a bad place. I'm not trying to be Debbie Downer about it. I'm just trying to be honest with how I felt and how I know a lot of people feel. I made some great friends in LA and I'm very thankful for them. I think I got closer with my friends there as I was gonna leave. I just felt like even though I had great friends in LA, I always felt alone when it came to friends. LA is a very tough place to make friends. You know, when I moved to LA, I was like, oh, I'm gonna be friends with this YouTuber and you know, we're gonna collab and be friends because that's what beauty industry used to be. When I moved to LA, a lot of people I used to follow and watch, I met them in real life and I would see them more often at events and just didn't know that so much of social media was so produced. I feel like a lot of people like toxic relationships or relationships for clout. That's not what I'm about. I was not willing to use people to get to the top and step on whoever I need to step on. And trust me, I've had a lot of people use me and throw me out like yesterday's garbage whenever they pass me in followers or when they got what they wanted from me. I learned really quick. Last year, we realized that LA was not our home anymore and it was time for the next chapter of our lives. I mean, we wanted to be near family. We want to start a family one day. I just couldn't see that happening in LA, like in the environment. I just feel like I'm focused on different things now than I was 4 years ago. I made my networks. I met great people. I was able to have great experiences with makeup brands that I love. None of that will stop because I'm not living there. Like, I can do what I do from anywhere. So we will still be bi-coastal once all of the virus and everything passes. We will still be going to LA for work and for other things, but it won't be my home base anymore. And I know that I'm going to enjoy LA a lot more not living there full time. I just can't tell you, even within less than 2 weeks, how much clearer my mental space is. Everyone has been so nice here and so awesome. Like, I can't even tell you. I feel like 1 year in LA is actually 2 years mentally. So I feel like I've been in LA almost a decade in my head. And I forgot Southern hospitality. I forgot how nice people were. I told one of my best girlfriends, I don't know how to live near you anymore. I'm not used to having friends near me. Broke my heart saying that out loud because I guess I never really thought of it that way. But Raphael and I didn't start getting closer to our friends in LA until we were about like maybe 2 months before we left, because everyone knew we were leaving. So we bonded more with people, which just sucks. I wish we could have done it earlier, but I didn't really have many girlfriends. It was so weird to say, like, I'm not used to having access to people that I love anymore, because it was just me and Raphael for 3 years, hustling and bustling, trying to get through the maze of LA. Pretty soon I'm gonna be able to drive to my family and drive to my friends. That is crazy. And I'm so excited. When I moved to LA, everything was so shiny and new, and I was so hopeful and bright-eyed. By the time I was getting ready to leave LA, I feel like it really wore me down. There was so much negativity around me as far as my workspace. You guys always see me drink Phil's, and Phil's was like maybe the 10th coffee place that I tried in Hollywood when I lived there, and that was where I made my first friend. His name is Matt. And then we moved to West Hollywood, and then we moved to Studio City. In Studio City, they opened a Phil's like a few months ago, and Matt was transferred there. I hadn't seen him in so long. And it was funny because we got to connect a little bit before I moved. I would go to so many coffee shops like all the time before I found Phil's, and I would see the same barista. I would see her every day, for example, at this one place. She would always act like she'd never seen me before. And I was like, seriously, like, you see me here every single day in Tennessee. If you go somewhere else, they're like, oh, good to see you again. They'll probably ask what your name is, and you'll probably form a friendship with them. That's just being a nice human being. But everyone in LA is so in their own zone. They're in a little bubble. Even though there are millions of people there, LA can just feel so lonely. No one talks to anyone. And if you do try to talk to someone, they think you're weird. It was just something I never experienced in my life. There were so many things we experienced on a daily basis that I had never experienced anywhere in my life. I could feel LA draining me. Mentally, my soul, I just felt drained. I just started to get kind of in a dark place. I'm a very positive person. I just wasn't happy. LA taught me a lot. I bucked up, I toughened up, I grew a thicker skin, thick with 2 C's, thicker skin. I wanted to prove to myself that I could start over and do this for me by myself. I moved to LA by myself, me and Molly. I had unforgettable, amazing experiences there. But in the long term, it was just not helping me at all. I felt like I had plateaued. I've always been true to myself on social media. Sure, maybe I've been lost a lot of times. I've made mistakes. That's just me figuring out life. But I've never changed who I was morally, mentally, anything to be successful in social media. I've always been me and done what made me happy. When it became very apparent to get to the next level in LA, there were certain things that I would need to do. I wasn't willing to do it. And when LA no longer became a necessary thing for my career, we got ready to pack up and leave. No one needs to be in LA to be successful in social media. There are a lot of brands, a lot of amazing resources there, but you can visit to get those. When I moved to LA, I wanted to step out of my comfort zone, step out of my box, and like hang out with more YouTubers, because I felt like everyone was friends and I wanted to be part of the friend group. Like, I love makeup too. I love what I do. When I first started going to events, started hanging out with people and getting people's phone numbers, there were so many people, real talk, that wouldn't text me back unless they could use me in some way, like filming or whatever. They wouldn't respond. And I've never been the type of person to use people like that. Like, I would love to collab with people, but it's such a taboo thing now. Like, unless you have more followers than them or they can benefit. Like, you see people talk about it all the time, and it's crazy how shameless people are of like, oh, you've got to have more followers than me to collab, or I've got to be able to benefit from you. Like, I don't care how many followers someone has. If I like you, why not film together and make a fun video? Like, YouTube should be fun. It shouldn't be so produced and so focused just on money. Only making decisions based on how you can benefit monetarily blew my mind. LA definitely taught me how to stand on my own 2 feet. When I first moved there and I wanted to be friends with, I was like, I'm gonna be friends with this girl and this person and this guy and this girl. And then I would be like, oh, well, why didn't she invite me to her birthday party? Or why didn't she invite me to her Christmas party? And I used to feel so bad about myself. And then I would see one of the girls one-on-one, and she would just talk trash about everyone that was at her party. And then I realized they're not even friends. And what does she say behind my back when I'm not there? It was just so catty. Like, there was so much drama behind the scenes of people that you never see drama from. Like, being in LA, I saw the good, the bad, and the ugly. It definitely started to make me look at things in a different way. Coming from being on my own to being dropped right in the middle of the scene was a huge wake-up call. I was able to sift through in the first couple of years who was really my friend and who wasn't. I'm very thankful for the people that are my friends that are so awesome and that are so great. And honestly, like, who even cares about the rest? I'm gonna answer some questions. I'm seeing a lot of questions asking about Raph and if he wanted to move, and if I had to convince him to move, and what he thinks, if he likes it. He actually loves it so far. He liked it when we came to visit a few times. He loved how green it was. I think that was one of the biggest things for him, was the nature here. There's so many parks and lakes and rivers, and there's just so much to do outdoors, and he can also fish. He grew up fishing and doing a lot of things outdoors, and so did I. Like, I literally grew up fishing as well. You would never know it now looking at me, but I think he's really excited about that. And also, he loves how quiet it is here. We have had the best nights of sleep the last 2 weeks than we have in, like, I don't know, 6 months. In my house that we moved from, they were building a house next door. We have had the worst construction next door, as I've said before, for like, I think it's been since November they were doing hardcore construction. Like, they demolished the house next to us and then built 2 houses from the ground up. What was your breaking point that led to the move? There was a point where every single day something would happen, and there were just a lot of things happening, like one after the other, and Raphael and I just looked at each other and we were like, we gotta get out of here. Things were happening that just made living there ultimately not worth it to us to be there. How did LA benefit you? Would you recommend moving to LA to upcoming influencers? I think LA benefited me in a way of meeting brands face to face, getting to meet some great influencers and other people in the space that create, and meeting, there are a lot of people I met and became friends with that I didn't follow before meeting them at an event, and maybe wouldn't have found them. So that was really awesome. As far as moving there and being an influencer, I think it's very personal. I can't tell you that you should or shouldn't move. I would just weigh out the pros and cons of what you want out of your career and out of your life. I think that if you're big enough online, everyone in LA will fly you there. If that's, you know, something you want to do. I don't think you have to be in LA to be successful. Someone said, say hi to Taylor Swift. Honestly, tell her that if she wants to hang out, I'll be her best friend because I love Taylor Swift. How is it to move out of a big city to where you are now? Honestly, coming from a really small town, this is like the perfect medium. Where I grew up was really tiny. Knoxville was pretty small. LA was huge, and now Nashville is smaller, but Nashville is still a good sized city. And Nashville just feels like a smaller LA to me so far. So I think this is like the perfect end spot. When did you finally find toilet paper? I was looking for toilet paper for 6 days. I went to Target, Walmart, Home Depot, CVS, Walgreens, nothing. And then one of the Walgreens employees told me a day they were gonna get it, and I waited outside in the cold for 30 minutes so I could be like the second person there, and I was able to buy a thing of toilet paper. I was so happy. How does it feel? I know LA was becoming hard and quite toxic. So happy for you. I am feeling so relieved and so overjoyed. Since you moved to LA for your career, how will being away from LA affect your career? I think the only thing it would change is like being able to drive to certain brands' offices or my management team, things like that, people that are there, collabing with people that are there. But besides that, nothing will really change. Everything I do is still online. I built really wholesome, genuine relationships with brands and people, and I know that I'll carry those on. Plus, I get to create more content and be more present. So as long as I'm happy and I'm doing what I love and you guys are loving what I post, that's all that really matters to me. Is this your forever home? Love you in your videos, by the way. Love you too. I don't know if this will be my forever home. It definitely feels like my home for a while. I feel so happy right now and it just feels so right. But when we were moving here, we were actually debating between Nashville and Miami or somewhere in South Florida. So if we were to move anywhere after here, I think it would be Florida. Every time I think I've got life down pat, God says nope and something else happens. So found a new coffee spot yet? I wish. Since we're on lockdown and because of quarantine, I won't be going to any coffee shops until this is over. We're just staying at home, but I have been making my own coffee. I did one of my newest little coffee recipes on my TikTok. So if you guys aren't following me, come follow me on TikTok. This is a really good question. Why did you choose Nashville and not your hometown? I love you so much. Love you too. I could never move back to my hometown. Just no. Think it's too small for me. Maybe when I'm like old. Is the pace fast or slow in Nashville? I don't really know yet because of everything going on. We haven't seen like the real life. I feel like it's about a medium pace. Tennessee as a whole is kind of slower. Even when we came here in December looking at houses, we had no issues getting places. It was so great. What do you love the most about Tennessee? My top two would be the people are so nice and so welcoming and just like friendly. It's that Southern hospitality. Like everyone holds a door open for you. They say, yes, ma'am. And then secondly, the nature. Like the air is just so fresh. When I lived in LA for like half a year and then I came home, I was like, oh my gosh, I can literally smell a difference in the air. It's so crisp and there's so much nature and the birds and I just love it. How did you find the perfect home? Honestly, there was a long time where I didn't think we were gonna find a place and I was so confused because we had so many signs to move and everything was falling apart. Like we were supposed to move earlier and this one house we were gonna buy fell through and I kept looking at other houses and just nothing felt like the right house. And with our time frame, like I needed to decide. And there was this one house that I had a friend come see for me when I was in LA. And there was like one thing about the house that she thought I wouldn't like. So I was like, okay, no. So when I came to look at my final round of houses, I came to that house. And it was this house and I fell in love with this house. I was like, oh my gosh, this house is amazing. I was like, this is it. And it was very scary, very scary. Growth is never comfortable. This was one of the scariest decisions, but honestly, in my life and in my career, everything that has benefited my life and my business has been a risk and has been scary. So when I was scared, even though I was excited, when I was scared, I knew it was right. Not a question, but I hope you found toilet paper. LOL, hope you're loving the new place. I love how concerned you guys are. I'm really glad I found toilet paper too. Hate to be nosy like this, but just curious if housing is more expensive in Nashville versus LA. Honestly, I thought Nashville was gonna be so inexpensive and Nashville is not anywhere near as expensive as LA. I think LA, San Francisco, New York are like crazy high. But Nashville, compared to where I grew up in Tennessee, is really expensive. Someone told us there was like 200 people moving here a day or something crazy. Nashville's really booming business-wise, and in general, Nashville's growing like crazy, that the housing market is just so expensive right now. Do you recommend getting movers across country? 100%. We had a moving team, so we did a full service move. We packed everything into boxes, but then they wrapped all of our furniture, all of the valuables, and I gave away a lot of stuff in LA as well. I gave away tons of makeup, tons of furniture, but we brought a lot of stuff, which is great because now I don't really have to buy anything. When I moved to LA originally, I just did like a pod type of service where you pack it yourself and they drop it off, and it was really difficult. What was the hardest part about moving? Honestly, one of the hardest parts was not telling you guys because I didn't want to tell anyone until after I did it. And that was hard because I wasn't creating as much content, packing everything. I don't know how we had so much stuff, shutting off utilities, transferring everything, just transferring your whole life. We had built a whole life in LA, and in that house, we were there almost 3 years. So we built a whole life there. I mean, Raphael is like #1 hero in this story because he packed so much stuff. Like Raphael is like the best boyfriend in the entire world. He did so much. Like as I've been filming, he's been helping me unpack my studio. Who does that? He's the best ever. I love him more than anything. I don't show a lot of my relationship on camera, but he's the best boyfriend and he goes above and beyond for me and treats me like a queen, and I'm so thankful for him. How are Molly and Aspen liking the change? I think they love that it's more peaceful. They were always barking, and just Molly was always anxious in LA because she's used to having a quiet environment, and LA is just not quiet. Been just sitting out on the porch, and even Aspen hates being outside because she has all her hair, but Aspen's been just smelling, like they're just smelling, and it makes me so happy to see them just smelling. And we've been taking them on like little walks and stuff, and I think they're loving it. Was it hard for you and your partner to agree to pick up and move your life across the country? When Raphael and I started talking about it, he has been nothing but supportive. He has been the best, and he was also ready to get out of LA, and we're just such a unit that what makes him happy makes me happy, and what makes me happy makes him happy. I'm very thankful for that. And he has been nothing but the best and supportive about everything because, you know, we are a family. I've been following you for a long time, and I live in LA, and I support you, and I'm not rude, no question. I just feel bad that you say people in LA were rude. I think it's mean to generalize. I definitely don't want any of you that live in LA watching my video to think I'm generalizing. Like, I really, really don't mean that, and I don't want that at all. In 4 years living there, I encountered rude people all the time, not just in my industry. That was my experience. And that doesn't mean you're rude because you live there. It's just like, just because the South has a reputation for being nice doesn't mean everyone that lives in Tennessee is nice. It's just not reality. It is not my intention to make anyone feel bad if you live in LA. So please, please, please don't feel that way. This is just my experience. It does not mean that everyone there is rude. What is one thing you'll miss about Cali the most? Over the last couple years, I found like my favorite food spots. So I'm gonna miss those, and then I'll definitely miss the weather because I'm not a big fan of cold weather. But LA was usually pretty perfect weather every day. I love sunshine. Are you still going to travel to LA for work? All the time, yes. Once all of this is over, with the virus and everything, we will still be traveling to LA quite often for work. Something I didn't expect was so many of you that live in LA or have lived in LA relating to things that I had said in my goodbye LA video. That made me feel even more connected with you guys, to know that I wasn't alone, because I met so many people in LA that feel the same as me. It really meant a lot. It made me feel really connected to you. I'm gonna end the video here. I feel like there's so much more that I could talk about. So if you guys want, in the future, I can do like a chit chat, get ready with me, or just do a part 2 chatting with you guys. Let me know down in the comments, give the video a thumbs up. Thank you as always for supporting me, for all the love on my last video. Oh my gosh, I did not expect so much love on the past 2 videos. You guys really blew me away. It was even more of a reassurance that I was doing the right thing, because I didn't want to post until after we moved. I didn't want like anything clouding my mind. I'm just so happy right now, and I can't wait to create more for you guys. So I love you so much. I hope you're staying well, staying safe during this time. Sending all my love to you, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.